I'm still shaken to this day as I recall the disastrous adventure that befell me at the Mouradi Djerba Menzel, Midoun. It's a story of unrelenting woe, a catastrophe of ineptitude, and a stark reminder that some establishments are better left avoided. As I stepped into this supposed resort, I was immediately struck by the overwhelming stench of neglect. The atmosphere reeked of laziness, of corners cut and responsibilities shirked. The staff, seemingly as apathetic as the management, trudged about with all the enthusiasm of a sleepy sloth. I recall the first room they assigned me, a dingy, cramped space that seemed to suffocate me with its very presence. The air was thick with the stench of mildew, and the curtains, once a pristine white, now clung to the windows like a damp, gray shroud. It was as if the room had been left to rot, a forgotten relic of a bygone era. But I thought perhaps this was merely an isolated incident. Alas, my optimism was short-lived. The bathroom tap, caked with limescale, spat out a pathetic trickle of water as if it too were weary of the entire ordeal. And don't even get me started on the toilet paper, or rather, the lack thereof. It's a basic human decency, folks, to provide a few squares of toilet paper. Is that too much to ask? As I made my way to the restaurant, my stomach growling with anticipation, I was greeted by a sight that would haunt my dreams for weeks to come. The tables, sticky with the residue of 1,000 previous meals, seemed to leer at me like a dirty secret. The food, a sorry excuse for culinary art, was an affront to the senses. I mean, who serves lukewarm pancakes and meatballs that seem to have been sat out for an eternity? It's an insult, a slap in the face, a declaration of war against the very concept of taste buds. And the service? Oh, dear heavens, the service. Our server, a listless soul with all the charm of a wet sock, seemed to take an inordinate amount of pleasure in ignoring our every request. It was as if we were an inconvenience, a mere afterthought in the grand tapestry of their apathy. But I digress. The real tragedy here lies not in the individual mistakes, but in the systemic failures that allowed such incompetence to flourish. It's a culture of neglect, folks, a toxic environment that breeds laziness and excuses mediocrity. They're not just serving subpar food and providing inadequate service, they're insulting our very intelligence. As I lay in my creaky, uncomfortable bed, the sound of raucous revelry drifting in from the pool area, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of melancholy. It's not just a bad hotel, folks, it's a symbol of everything that's wrong with our society. We settle for subpar, we excuse incompetence, and we roll over like docile little lambs, accepting whatever scraps were thrown. Well, not me, not today. I'm taking a stand, dear friends, and I'm telling you to avoid the Mouradi Djerba Menzel, Midoun like the plague. It's a sinkhole of disappointment, a vortex of despair, and a stark reminder that sometimes, even our deepest desires can be reduced to nothing more than a damp, gray shroud. What do you think, dear friends? Have you too been subjected to the horrors of this wretched establishment? Share your stories, your nightmares, and your outrage in the comments below. Let's rise up together and demand better.
Okay, here's the, alright, let's talk about what's surrounding the Mouradi Djerba Menzel. Frankly, it's disheartening. The businesses clustered around this hotel, they aren't presenting the best face of Tunisian hospitality. It feels like a place where optimism goes to quietly expire. They are, generally speaking, places designed to extract as much as possible with as little effort as possible. And it's exhausting, even just reading about it. It's impacting my soul, honestly. To put it bluntly, the reputation of businesses here feels predatory. It isn't a place brimming with friendly service and value, it's one where you need to be perpetually on guard. I'm not saying every establishment is a trap, but the sheer weight of consistent complaints suggests a systemic issue. And it leaves a rather unpleasant taste, doesn't it? A dull, lingering ache of disappointment. Let's start with what most travelers are likely to encounter: the shopping experience. Or rather, the illusion of one. The Djerba Mall, it's difficult to even categorize it as a mall. It's a phantom mall. People are arriving expecting a vibrant shopping hub and finding, essentially, a Carrefour supermarket with a couple of shops clinging on for dear life. It's like someone described a mall, and someone else tried to build it from memory, after a very long time and a fuzzy recollection. And the atmosphere, several reviews mentioned an unsettling feeling of being unwelcome. even actively disliked by staff. One person described the pharmacy inside as frankly terrifying, a seller claiming medical expertise without any qualifications and then refusing a refund when they were wrong. It leaves you wondering what other corners are being cut, what other illusions are being sold. The smells aren't right, the eyes aren't right, everything is just off. It's a place where you're more likely to feel fleeced than fulfilled, and the prices, well, they appear to be determined by how much the establishment thinks they can get away with. One visitor was charged different prices for the same product, and the complaints abound about inflated costs across the board. Why even bother? It's creating heartburn just thinking about it. Moving on, we have the Vincci Midoun Hotel. If the Djerba Menzel was a disappointment, this place seems to actively court despair. The sheer number of scathing reviews about disrespectful, even abusive staff behavior is deeply troubling. People reporting insults, harassment, and shockingly, alleged homophobic remarks. It isn't just a matter of poor service, there are accusations of genuine malice. Imagine arriving, seeking a peaceful getaway, and being made to feel unclean by the people meant to care for you. The reviews paint a picture of a hotel desperately clinging to a past glory. Dirty rooms, a rundown atmosphere, and a complete lack of attention to detail are recurrent themes. A dog attacking guests. That's not a minor incident, that's a catastrophic failure of security and responsibility. It's a place where it appears some staff actively try to separate guests from their money. It is making my blood boil as I speak. One story highlighted the cynical attempts to inflate prices for simple conveniences, a blatant disregard for basic fairness. It truly makes me wonder about human nature, honestly. Then there's Ranch Yasmina Djerba Ladus. Reviews are sparse but concerning. The main complaint: the horses are severely undernourished. If you're an animal lover, this is where you turn away. How can someone advertise a horse riding experience when clearly the animals are suffering? It feels like the pursuit of profit has completely eclipsed any sense of compassion. Let's talk about food, because every holiday needs sustenance, right? Restaurant Haroun is, based on the reviews, an exercise in frustration and potentially food poisoning.
The consistent complaints about terrible service, overpriced meals, and shockingly poor quality food are enough to give anyone pause. The reports of raw meat and the blatant attempts to inflate bills. It's simply unacceptable. It has a whiff of tourist trap about it. A place designed to give you a disappointing meal and a lighter wallet. One visitor was essentially robbed, subjected to outrageous prices with no justification. It feels like they are deliberately preying upon people. And then, the night. The Cyclone Disco Lounge. Oh, the Cyclone. This place seems to operate on the principle of maximizing profit through deliberate deception. The reports of fluctuating prices based on appearance, particularly targeting tourists, are infuriating. It's a simple scam dressed up as a nightclub. The aggressive behavior of the staff, the plain dishonesty,
Okay, so I've been looking into things around Mouradi Djerba Menzel, Midoun. You know, just seeing what happens. It's mostly just disappointing, honestly. Businesses near Mouradi Djerba Menzel, Midoun, they often pretend to be something they ray not, especially souvenir shops. Like really pushy about luxury gold and silver jewelry. But it's fake, you know, completely fake. People were paying like 100 to 400 euros for it. They probably tried to get a refund, got yelled at, then just gave up and threw it away when they got home. The shopkeepers, they probably just kept doing it, laughing all the way to the bank. Probably still are. Then there's the carpets. Businesses near Mouradi Djerba Menzel, Midoun, they love to sell you handmade Berber carpets, but they're mass-produced in Asia. They even show you someone weaving just to lie to you. It's just mean. People paid up to 600 euros for these rugs. They probably felt so stupid, you know. They tell everyone back home, warn them, but the damage is done. The shop probably got a small fine and continued on. It gets worse. Bakeries near Mouradi Djerba Menzel, Midoun, they show you one price, then charge tourists double. Like they just make up a price. Oh, the board is old, they say. It's so frustrating. The tourists probably argued, felt humiliated, and paid it just to get away. And the bakery. They probably just saw another easy target walk in. It's depressing. And the olive oil. Oh my God. Businesses near Mouradi Djerba Menzel Midoun, they let you taste the good olive oil, then switch it for cheap stuff when you buy a bottle. Can you believe it? People came home, tasted it and were like, what is this? They probably left a bad review online, but the shop probably just ignored it. I mean, who cares about reviews when you're scamming people, right? It's just sad, isn't it? And finally, pottery shops. They accuse tourists of breaking things even if they didn't touch anything. They block the door and demand money, like 70 dinars for a broken plate. They just make stuff up. Tourists probably paid out of fear, then cried about it later. And the shopkeeper probably thought, easy money, it's just I don't even know anymore, just awful.